let's get into it.
This is actually from Impassable.
Hell yeah, it is.
This one.
Would you like to say a few words for our sponsors?
Is that Bane?
It's so fuzzy. It's so...
Is that the?
Is yours from Impassable too?
Speaking of, a word from our sponsors, if you like these dice bags, YBIT24, 10% off your order. You can find a link in the description. They are dope.
Yeah, you
They are
can.
small as hell. And they hold a lot of dice too. Like I'm new to the game.
Oh yeah,
this is really getting filled up.
This thing is chunky.
Yeah, I got the small one, thinking, I won't need that many dice. No, anyone who plays the game knows. After a year, you've got 87,000 dice running around your house somewhere.
Hey gang, welcome back to Eloria. We're gonna dive right in to the sprawling warrens and streets that make up the Undercity here in the Towers of Ascension. Dust is just beginning to settle as the crackles of arcane energy fill the air, ionizing it, burning your nostrils slightly. We find the Bloodlines, a group of sometimes misfits, but undoubtedly gifted and lauded members of Eloria's high society. And amidst you all, two bodies lie. Face down on the dusty marble cobbles, we see the still form of a dark elven paladin, a champion of the city-state Madigan. His pristine armor marred by a deep scorch piercing his chest. His fingers still clasped around the hilt of his mighty platinum greatsword. Not even a minute ago, he plummeted from the sky and attacked Nimbus, intent on avenging the reputation of his homeland, which he thought to be marred and damaged by the perceived malintent of Nimbus, whose flowers were woven with dark and bloody magic. A handful of steps away, we find our second body, here in this quiet street, one level below the surface. Dark pinstriped cashmere and silks adorn the man, an elf of some age, slicked back black hair and cold, lifeless eyes belonging to Orpheus Nightbane, Lord of the Undying, Necromancer Primarch, and Archmage of the Ivory. A dangerous spell battle took place here only moments ago. Explosion of lightning, fire, and death magic filling the air with charged potential, starting like a wildfire and ending a mere 20 seconds later as more than one of you gathered around these bodies looked death in the eyes for just a moment. As the High Mage of Necromancy's body hits the ground, it's already rumbling, an ominous roar, and a tinge of arcane workings silently exploding out from him. His last act, a contingency, seeming to have activated your conduit, Val. So I will turn it over to you guys. Deep down here in the Undercity. I've got two bodies down on the ground. Shit's going on in the pump room. What do you guys want to do?
How far are we from the pump room again?
30, 40 feet. You're basically right on the front steps. You guys teleported
right,
in.
this was outside.
Yep.
I'm catching up.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But yeah, you guys are just right up on the front steps.
Yeah, I think Val would just turn around and immediately go inside to investigate her baby project.
Perfect. Yeah, you, the doors open, that inky black barrier that prevents sight. Interesting note on your right as you approach, so kind of up in this direction, right up in here. You see the charred body of the guard, Faust's guardsman that was posted down for the count. Want to make me a perception check as you approach the doors, actually, Val.
I'd love to make that check for you.
Perfect.
Gotta open my...
Take your
You
time.
said you wanted perception?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll get perception. Here you are, bud.
Oof.
It's a bad perception.
Strong roll for the Archmage of Enchantment.
She's shaking.
She's shaking. That was 84 points of damage on a disintegrate, looking you in the eye like a freight train. I totally get it. With an 8, you're not able to glean much, except that when you part the doors to your sanctum, this place is kind of yours and Corbin's baby. It's wired in. It's even with an 8, you're very confident that while someone may have tried, no one made access to the pump room tonight. It's likely that they had tried to, but failed. But as you enter in, what are the rest of you guys doing out there?
Can I loot the, not loot the Archmage's body, but like try and get any information from him, like
100%.
from his corpse of like.
Yeah, give me that investigation roll, Alistair. Let's see what we can find.
Lightly
I think I would
investigate the corpse,
succeed.
not looting it.
Hey, it's
Looking for a note that says, I'm the bad guy.
there's
Pick
a
me.
18.
18. There's a shiny thing on the ground. We're gonna pick it up, right? On his person, you find he doesn't have much on him. He's kind of decked out in his evening wear. He's got, his nice outfit. All of it is enchanted in some form or another with some type of magical underlinings, protections, things like that. None of this is a surprise to you here in Eloria, especially for an Archmage. He's got a handful of rings on his fingers. Most of them are simple bands with engravings on the inside, really similar to like what you'd see when Gandalf throws the ring inside the fire, but without that, special something. A few of them are a little bit gaudy with stones on them. All of them likely have some type of like magical purpose. You notice that the cufflinks on his sleeves are tiny sending stones. Who knows who they connect to, but he's also got a spellbook. Of course he does. He's a wizard. He's the wizard of dark shit in Eloria. It's an intricately detailed and embellished tome, wrapped in a supple black leather with elegant and thin silverwork chased into the front, back, and binding. Inside, there are a ton of pages, all of them inked with arcane diagrams, runes, symbols, formulas. What languages do you speak, Alistair?
That is an amazing question. Let me look at that again. I built this character like a couple months ago and I forget actually.
Hell yeah.
Alistair speaks Common in Celestial, Draconic, Elvish, and Sylvan.
I gotcha. There is a handful of writing in here that you do not recognize, or you can't read. I will say that for free, you recognize it as abyssal. But it's everything just is notes on spells pertaining to like different use cases for them or different things like that. It's nothing really like he's trying to conceal. Rather, it's just his own. Can you do what? Sorry.
Can I take the spell book with me?
100%, 100%. I will say with an 18 as well, as you're rifling through the pages, you do come across a loose sheet of paper. Not on fine vellum like that is bound in the book, but just normal old parchment. On that parchment is a very crude drawing of Eloria. Mountain, city in between, and there are marks on the Towers of Ascension, and there is a mark at the center of the Undercity, likely denoting the 9-pointed star where you guys had been earlier in the evening, and the pump room where you are currently at. Whatever his...
We've been planning this for a while.
Yeah, let me ask you for an insight check as well, Alistair. I almost gave you free information, and I forgot dice exist.
Alistair has a good insight. That is another 18.
Hell yeah. With another 18, it seems like these are the two places that Val was likely to be at tonight. It seems like he was after her. I think it's easy to jump to the conclusion that either Valtris or Corbin are the one or two people that could interfere enough to stop his plans. But look where that got him.
Disintegrated. Well, not disintegrated, but...
Dead in the street. Faust, Nimbus, Corbin, you guys up to anything? You just seen Val run into the pump room, and Alistair over here looking through this mage's spellbook.
I'm definitely following Val.
Perfect.
Faust yells, "Val, don't go in alone."
Gotcha.
Nimbus,
Chase after.
I'll be praying over the dead bodies to
Steal
the Gale Storm. No, we don't steal from the dead, but to send their souls upon the winds of the Gale Storm.
Perfect. I dig it. Go ahead, sir.
One last thing before Alistair heads into the pump room. Alistair casts Firebolt on Archmage Orpheus's body so that he can't be resurrected.
Hell yeah, man. That is just...
Basically just burns the body.
Salt the earth of that necromancer and his dreams of ever becoming a lich. Hell yeah. That's the way to do it. All right.
Yeah. We're nothing but thorough.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Nimbus, do you want to... do you want... Interesting, as you pray over these bodies,
I have the prayer. Do you want to hear it?
hell yeah, I do.
I will go over to the paladin, and Nimbus feels a little guilty that she had killed him, and she will go over to his body where it's like charred hole in his chest, just kind of having her on her knees. Not really on her knees on the ground, she's still in her Storm Ascension, so she's still floating, little wisps of her clouds underneath her, but it'll look like she's on her knees as she floats, and her hands kind of hovering over them, a little glow over her fingertips.
Oh, Galestorm, mighty and swift, bear the soul on your wings, and a gentle lift, carry it high where the heavens unfold, to the place of peace where your love takes hold. With your breath guide their way through the clouds into the light of day. Let their spirits soar unburdened and free on the winds of your grace to your eternity. And O gale storm, heed this plea, and in your embrace, let them be.
And she'll just be like over him.
I love it. Roll me a D100, Nimbus. We're gonna
Oh,
have fun with this. I love it.
That was beautiful.
That really was. I love that shit.
And if you all saw me go right as she started, it's because my chair picked out.
Jump scare. That's called divine
That was
intervention.
part of prayer.
Well,
intended.
Hell yeah.
That 1D100 is 76.
I gotcha. Nimbus, as you're deep in prayer, just the slightest hint of a breeze comes past your hair and just barely moves it. But you feel at peace in your heart, and for what it's worth, you know that your prayer was heard, and you know that his soul is on its way to a place that he's not upset that it's going to. He is a man of conviction and faith, just like you are, except you're not a man. But it is received. And it's more than he thought he would get when he came to Eloria.
Her hands that were glowing will just kind of come to her lips as she'll then just kind of blow a little, kind of like a little air kiss to the breeze that is brushing against her. And I'll use my druidcraft as you're scattering my seeds around him. Use druidcraft to just kind of wrap his body up in a bunch of flowers and vines.
Hell yeah, I dig it so much. As you
And then I'll join my friends.
Yeah, as you summon these flowers up, you're still floating, but you can still hear and feel the vibrations of the rumbling coming from deep underground. As you make your way in past the black barrier that makes up the obfuscation film over the pump room. As you guys all convene in this space, Val, there is something terribly wrong here. Hang on just a second. I gotta pull up the right document. The 10 seconds. Sorry guys, gotta read something because this device is terrifying because it kind of makes sense how it works, so I have to like refresh myself on how it works. So Val, you know for a fact that this should not have been able to turn on by itself. It needed you to be there. It needed Corbin to be there. It actually needed all of you guys to be there. The activation for, it gets a glitzy title and it gets a gala thrown in its honor. But the activation, the true activation, was to be later tonight when you had gathered your friends, because while Alistair hasn't been involved in the project, he's what kicked it off in the beginning. And again, he was going to be necessary. You know for a fact that Alistair has access to the one thing that you needed yet to finish this, and that was the Ceremony of Revelations. The Ceremony of Revelations is immense in its power, allowing you to essentially, these are 10th level spells. These are off the edge of the map magic, a ritual that requires everyone involved to dedicate part of their arcane potential. And this ceremony, the Ceremony of Revelations, was You had to do it. It's not locked onto anything. The goofy, the Celestial Harmonizer, the device that actually locates, like, and targets the source of energy to pull through the device. It wasn't set to anything. So, and you're again, you're positive that no one got in here. This doesn't make sense. It doesn't. How can it know where to even go? None of this makes sense. And while you're,
Can I see?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Can I see if the technology has some sort of like last known coordinates capability, like a history of whatever, if I can see through what I have and what it's already programmed with, if I can find out what has happened on the technological end?
Yeah, let's do this. And I will say, this is going to be a little bit complicated. So, do you share that information with the rest of the gang?
I would say it to Corbin within earshot, because I'm very much just flying by the seat of my pants a little bit, and they're the one that I trust the most. But like, I wouldn't keep it secret. I would just be focused on Corbin and getting their help specifically.
Perfect. I got you. So let's do this. Val, can I get from you an Arcana check, or an investigation check, whichever you prefer?
Let's do Arcana.
And then from Corbin, can I get the same thing, an investigation or Arcana? And then from Alistair, can I get a history check from you, sir? He is not here. We will wait for him to come back. We might come back to that in a second. But yeah.
What do you need?
So just real quick, Faust, during this time, he is doing everything he can to scout, identify, and isolate any kind of threat, any opening, any spot where something that he thinks is going to go down could go down in this room. So I'd like to ready an action if I can.
What's the action you're readying, sir?
What I am readying is I want to get to where the action is first. I need to be there. That is my job. I grab my scythe and I pretty much ready a dash, a bonus action dash, a full movement as far and as fast as I can, including Misty Step, just to get to that person. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Get to a spot where it could be. I am sitting on edge. Faust, blood's pumping. There's something else left. This ain't right.
Absolutely.
And he is gripping wrenching his hands around his ornate scythe, his packed weapon.
Hell yeah.
Ready to go. You can feel the bloodlust, like he's ready to go.
Heck yeah. So what was those Arcana / investigation rolls?
17.
17, and from the
16.
16, perfect. Okay, so we will start with Corbin, because Corbin, you built this thing. Over the course of a decade, you have the sharpest fundamental knowledge of the way that this thing works. There is no way, to your knowledge, that this could have been started spontaneously. Something had to start this. I think you guys, the easy belief was, when you saw that contingency leave the body of Orpheus, that he had this enchanted, and he hit the on switch as he dropped. It doesn't seem like that was the case. It seems like it did something else. It's hard to say what. It's impossible to say what at this moment, but there is just something about that. It should not be possible. It could not have spontaneously turned on. And then Val with 16. It was set to the location that you guys set it to years ago when Alistair first helped you gaze past the planar boundary. This was the time when the mages of abhaile first became aware of extra-dimensional planes, and it was locked in place at that spot that you guys went to, we will wait for him to come back to the table to continue on that. But
I'm gonna go my back real quick. I'm sorry, it's making so much noise and driving me crazy.
Oh, you're good, man. And then we will just take a tiny second to
Sorry, man. And figured while Will was gone, it was a perfect time. Man.
Nah, you are good. You are good. And then we will Oh, it's about to get.
We're the only ones that can activate this thing.
Yeah, I don't want to want to let them come back real quick before we jump back into it,
Right.
because. But real quick, Will, would you mind rolling me a history check while we're waiting for them to return?
25.
Oh. With a 25.
Rolling really good tonight.
Really good, which is important. It's the end of the world, right? With a 25, they're just to kind of fill you in. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Why did it activate spontaneously? Where was it targeted? Val knows that it was targeted at when you first when you first showed them that there are worlds outside of our own. So with a 25 history check, roll me a d12.
Ooh. Uh, 10.
10. With a 10, you know that the planes in their alignment are orbiting our plane. The prime material acts as the anchor for all of these splintered dimensions. There's the Shadowfell, there's the Feywild, there's all of the elemental planes. The last time you guys had done this, fire. That was where you guys looked. You looked through the planes for fire, and you found the plane of fire. You know that the orbit continues, and it is likely locked in place over or near another one now. So it's hard to say exactly where it is, but it was looking at a plane. I would say it's pretty confident that it wasn't Shadowfell, it wasn't Feywild, because they're much closer. They're more like lunar bodies than they are orbital bodies. And what were you saying?
Is it possible to roll like some kind of Arcana check to be able to determine the plane?
Absolutely. Roll me an Arcana check, and then
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Dirty 20. We're just going to make up some fun D&D stuff here. I would say that, especially because, 10th level magic is so cool that any opportunity that you can, you've used that opportunity to get in on that ritual. Even though it is taxing, it is the coolest thing in the world to be able to gaze into the infinite, unknown, impossible world around us. That you've got a pretty good feel for it. It's likely the elemental plane of ice that you are currently over the top of, based on your quick math. But Corbin, while you guys are sitting here having this little discussion over the metaphysics of the conduit, in your fishbowl, you hear apparently the voice of Barnabas Smythe. Shit. We did the best we could, but I think we went and sold the farm. Batteries. They're charging batteries. Snowman. And as he says snowman, there's like a to his voice, like things aren't great, as the sending cuts off.
Well, that sucks.
Yes.
Alright, everything has gone to shit. Officially.
Would you like to share
Well,
that
maybe not
information
even-
to the rest of them, Corbin?
Yeah. Especially now.
Yeah. Okay. With that, Val and Corbin, if you guys could both make me an Arcana check, another one, please, because that information,
You got it.
that information is something that we can work with.
24?
Hell yeah.
2.
22.
22 and a 24. This is awesome. You guys are truly, you deserve the credit. This is an amazing thing. You know it really well.
It's our speciality.
Hell yeah, it is. It's your baby. Batteries. Alistair, I think in this moment when they say batteries, even without rolling something, I think it brings immediately to mind those black lines that you saw running from those people and those flowers towards the conduit, towards that port. It is starting to look that way. As you say that, ask that question aloud, Corbin with a 24, Val with a 22, I think you come to the conclusion at the same time. This device could not start. This could not start itself spontaneously. But if there was enough of a pull on the system, it's like priming a pump from the other end. So, as we're kind of all putting this together, Nimbus, can you roll me an Arcana check?
I sure can.
Consider yourself
think my
guided. Consider yourself guided for this because of your nice prayer.
Okay, my Arcana isn't great, but I will do a roll. You want me to add guidance?
Yeah,
on
add
this?
a D4 on top of it. Yeah.
Okay. D4. A 12.
12. 12's not bad. Nimbus, you are the
No, that's a
only...
14.
It is a 14. And Nimbus, you are the only one here who was bold enough to fuck with one of these flowers. You picked it up, you touched it, you gave it a little sniff, you expected it. You felt the influence of magic try to affect you. But you were strong enough to hold it off. You were strong enough to keep that at bay. In this moment, I think as everything is starting to snap into place, the reason why all those people that were there that were affected by it weren't showing signs of illness, because you had checked, you had run through the crowd, you had talked to everyone that had been around these centerpieces. You'd spoken with them. They all seemed like, they were like, wow, that's Nimbus. She's just being Nimbus, being a little goofy. But they didn't seem ill. They didn't seem malaffected. But batteries, priming the system, and this kind of all comes together for you guys with all of your areas of expertise coming together on this. If you had failed that save, Nimbus, that wisdom save when you interacted with the flower, I think you get a feeling that a piece of you, a piece of your magical potential, would have been burned away forever. Mechanically speaking, if you had failed the saving throw, your highest level spell slot would be gone forever. And a minute later, your second highest level spell slot would be gone forever. And a minute later, your third highest spell slot would be gone forever. Charging these batteries off of the magical potential of people, connecting these batteries to the port, primed the system. Enough power existed in the conduit that it forced a vacuum and drew magic straight through the reactor, straight through the conflux, without needing to be turned on. What these batteries were for, it's hard to say. But this also brings to mind something that Faust, you encountered. $100,000 would be ready soon. This has been going on for a minute. It's likely that the flowers that were used at the 9-pointed star were just the beginning. The first wave.
What's the population of Eloria?
The population of
Nuts.
Eloria is right under 1 million. Right under 1 million. And that is not necessarily specifically all directly in the footprint of Eloria. There are several settlements that radiate out from it a little ways, maybe 100, 200 miles at the most, but not very much further than that. It is, whoever wants to is free to make an insight check on Mr. Orpheus Nightbane.
19.
19.
I only got a +1, so that'd be garbage for me.
Man, what do necromancers want more than anything? They want bodies to raise an army, right? How cool would it be if your army was made up of the greatest mages of our time?
That's not possible. They haven't taken me.
The greatest mage of our time, Aloysius Faust.
Damn right. For 2 times, I am the greatest mage.
So, Val, circling back to you with a 22 on that last check of the device, locked in place with the device running at full capacity, there is no way to shut this down.
Oh, cool.
There is, with the flow started, normally you can manipulate the controls to back this out. But if these things really are batteries and they really are connected to the system, what's happened is they have forced the nozzle all the way open. They have forced the nozzle all the way open and they're keeping it open. to get the machine to shut off, you would have to expend more of the power than is being drawn through it to like lessen the flow, to get it below a threshold of 25% strength of efficiency coming through. You have to do something to, you've got to burn it off faster than it's coming in. That's the only way to do it, and then you can shut the dam. There is another concern, Corbin, with a 24 still. These batteries, they're kind of brilliant. Man, it's a shame you didn't think about some way to patent that, because, like, holy shit. Flower batteries. The battery is you.
Sounds
These
like a Wachowski siblings thing.
These batteries, if they really do drain the spell potential of their users, number one, what a worse type of hell than having all of your magical potential ripped away from you. But if they're still connected to the system, they primed the pump. They are now connected to the system. They are now some of the only things connected to the system. What would happen if those batteries overcharged? That's a concerning thought.
Oh.
So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a look slightly above the table. These batteries are a problem. These batteries are a problem. We have basically three things that we have to do. We've got to figure out a way to get these batteries disconnected. Getting the batteries disconnected is the first step to shutting down the conduit. If we can get these batteries disconnected, that solves that problem. We then have to figure out a way to dissipate some of this energy. And if we can solve that problem, we can shut the conduit down before an overload happens. We don't know what that would look like, but it almost certainly could not be good, especially if all of those batteries are up near the bureaucratic center of the city, the Towers of Ascension. So it's back to you guys.
Is there a way? I'm also almost wondering if there's a way to like reverse the charge if possible. Like
least
one of
short
those
'em
things
out.
that. What?
At least short them out. Is there a way
Yeah.
to short them out?
Like, or if there's a way to ground the energy, because I don't think Alistair is concerned with like the human life cost of this. Like, he doesn't care if all these people die. He just cares if the machine is up and running.
Hell yeah. Priorities. I love it.
That's where we differ. Francis Aloysius Faust at your service. Faust cares more about the safety of his kingdom and his people. We need to find a way to destroy the battery, shut down the project, save the people. That's where our future is, not in some stupid project.
What good is life-saving technology if there's no lives to save?
What good is technology if there are no lives? There's no one to use it. We can continue the research once this has been dealt with, but not while our people's lives are on the line.
And yeah,
This is a non-negotiable.
I'll say real quick, Val, nothing that we've kind of been musing over here, aside from batteries overcharging, is detrimental really in any way to pull in the emergency brake on the conduit. It's designed for it. It's a failsafe. It's just not capable of severing that connection when it's at full strength.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're starting over at square one. If we have to do something about it.
To the god, he knows what he's talking about.
Do not trust me.
If we must care about the human life cost of it, I guess we can.
It's not like me and my cerebral friend over here could knock this out in another 10 years.
Wouldn't
So
you
how do we-
rather
how
have
do we-
10 years to do that? Wouldn't you rather accomplish it safely and have it benefit people than have this amazing technology benefit a pile of ashes?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just playing devil's advocate with this son of a bitch who isn't helping.
Well, hold on. Hey,
Well,
get your heads out of your asses and get to work. Shut this shit down.
Um,
I'm sorry. What?
I wasn't included on
exactly
this
it is?
project. I don't know
I'm
how
on
this
your
works.
side.
It's not like we can just unplug it. I know your small little mind doesn't understand how this whole thing works, but that's not how this works.
Well,
There's not a button
if
that's
you
on and off.
understand it, figure it out. That's your
what we're
order.
trying
That's
to do.
what
Well,
you
give
need
me
to do.
time to, process the information. You go stab things or something. Let me and
Don't
Val
tempt me.
figure something else.
I will say,
Val,
um,
first things first. I just want to remind you, you did sign the terms of service, which does include a liability waiver. I want you to keep that in
Fucking
mind
warranty.
as we work on this.
oh yeah.
So, it's getting
We didn't break that
overloaded.
with the
Okay,
fish.
sure.
That was
Let's.
freaking.
Hell yeah. You gotta read the EULA. I'm sorry. It's just
You gotta read the terms of service.
Well,
I
now
ripped
you're in
the
your
tag
sleep.
off the mattress. That's on me.
oh, that's what really caused this apocalypse, guys. I want you to know that. She ripped the tag off.
They're ripping the tag.
And then-
Shit, fucking kids.
Just so Tasha's brain fully understands
Oh,
in Tasha
absolutely.
terms.
Absolutely.
Currently, the people that have touched the flowers and a bunch of others are currently the batteries, correct?
Correct.
As they're being drained.
Yes, and it's
Yeah,
hard to
their
say.
magic is being
It's
drained.
hard to say for sure. But it's likely just the people at the 9-pointed star so far.
Okay.
Is this
you-
siphoning energy?
Yeah, it was siphoning the energy to prime the pump. And Nimbus, you would know for sure that these kind of require those special flowers, and this is, you keep a pretty tight lid on that shit. You don't just have, workers at the conservatory just turning them out right and left. I will say, Alistair, you still have Ethereal Sight up, correct? That's up for a while, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I've had this up the whole time.
There is a non-zero chance that Ethereal Sight works with Scrying.
It does.
It works with Scrying, and you remember those things at the gala. They were pretty obvious. I think in this moment, if you were to put it way up in the sky, pointed down, you might be able to glean something off of that. As to whether or not this has gone past the gala, or if it's
Like a bird's eye
isolated.
view.
I actually do not have the scrying spell prepared at the moment.
Do you have
Womp womp.
Do you have a 5th level spell slot?
I do.
You do? Okay. I was going to say there's a solution for that too. But interestingly enough, the grimoire of Orpheus Nightbane has Scrying prepared. If you'd like to, as they were,
I will
take a page out of that book.
will absolutely use his spell book to cast Scrying. Yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. We are above Eloria, looking down. This is the perspective that this paladin just had as he was summoned high into the air. And looking down, you see a mass of black wires hovering over the nine-pointed star. This mass of wires coalesces into the conduit running down underground, down the mountainside, in through the just a little bit of background information on how this conduit was created. The pump room is the dead center of Eloria, one level below the Crystal Crest district. Dead center, north, south, east, and west. Two massive, the largest diameter trunks of the system run east and west from the pump room. One to the Aeronaut Conservatory, one to the Coronath Conservatory. You see these lines go from the gala down into this main trunk towards the pump room. You see another location where there are also black lines amassed and coagulated and congealed. And this is at the Ivory Tower, the heart of bureaucracy in Eloria. There are not as many lines here, but it does seem like the Towers of Elise right now, high above the city, is the only affected place as your vision snaps back down. So that is something, at least.
So I have a. So Faust has been standing here watching this happening, and he's thinking, and something doesn't feel right to him. So he goes to the two responsible for it.
At a time like this, we need to keep our heads on straight. And I need to know without a doubt in my mind that this was not the original plan. You both seem to be so cavalier with human life. Was this the plan?
And he stares them down as icy cold as he can. I mean, with every ounce of your mother pissed off at you when you are 5 years old for sticking your hand in the cookie jar when she told you no. I mean, that fuming anger that is staring out of his, radiating from his eyes.
All right. So, Val and Corbin, you guys roll me, and this is where those real dice come in handy, because it's a dead giveaway on D&D Beyond or on Foundry, and that's a shame. If you will roll me either perception or or a deception. Don't tell me what you're rolling, but just let me know the numbers. And hang on just 1 second. And then Faust, roll me an insight check.
I'm going to do real dice too, so I don't feel left out.
Hey, absolutely. That works just fine. And while you guys are doing that, I will say the other part of this is we do have to figure out a way to dissipate this energy. That's 15. And Val and Corbin?
11.
And
16.
16? Okay. Faust.
And do we?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna add a question. If we knew where right now, like, dissipate all this energy, as in everything connecting to the batteries, or is there, at least through Nimbus's awareness, a central location for that?
Roll me an Arcana check, ma'am. And Faust, I will say, it seems
I also
like.
have.
Oh, 1 second there, Mr. Alistair. Faust, it seems like they're being honest. Like this wasn't their plan. Their plan was for. You all right, TikTok?
Got a nat 20 for that Arcana, so I'm just kind of celebrating over there.
Hell yeah, we love nat 20s. Real quick, Mr. Alistair, what was your question, sir?
Oh, I was wondering if I could do an Arcana check to think of any way I could know to reverse the energy.
Yes.
Alistair had. So I have an idea. We can. Because I'm thinking about this magic almost like electricity. I wonder if there's a way we can ground it. We can we can reverse the flow and ground it into something.
The way
Absolutely.
to reverse the flow is by connecting the negatives in the pot there. We create a. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that in this exact moment, Alistair, I think you and Nimbus kind of catch each other's eyes. A lot of this is really heavy artifice, and it is really out there, especially for poor little Nimbus. But I think in this moment, you guys have a eureka moment, and at the same time, and you Nimbus, when you were praying outside in the street, you felt the breeze.
There is no breeze.
There is no breeze.
I just had chills there, Jake. Like, I literally just had a full-on chill. I was like, there is no breeze.
Me too. Up and down my back, it happened. There is no breeze in Eloria, or there shouldn't be. And Val, I think you know that members of the Elorian Magocracy can teleport in and out of the city with impunity. Members of foreign delegations, or even the regular common folk, have to go through the proper channels to leave Eloria because of the vast network of protective wards that have been put up around the city. Val, you were responsible for some of those protective wards, the wards that keep the weather at a consistent 75 degrees year-round, with no wind, no rain, no storms. Nimbus, with a natural 20, if you could somehow bridge the connection between yourself and the conduit, if you could channel that energy into a lightning bolt, or 20 lightning bolts, or however many it would take, that might be the solution to dissipating. It might be a solution to dissipating this buildup.
There'll be a moment where a little static bolt of electricity just goes straight up above Nimbus, like a light bulb. As she's like thinking this, you guys are all talking about the energy and stuff, and she's realizing that breeze. Suddenly, also remembering the dream or that moment with the gale storm when we first started this morning, of a storm over the city. And she looks like, you see her just like look at you all, a little static in the air, and she's like,
I felt a breeze.
There is no weather in Eloria.
I felt... That could mean a storm. I can make a storm.
Hell yeah. We do have one problem that Val and Corbin, you guys immediately pick up on. This, doing some mental calculations, this could work, the math could work. How do we connect? How do we connect a person to the conduit? The conduit was not meant for people to connect to it. Outside of like very specialized devices and things like that. There are ports all over the city, but it's... And then Nimbus, continuing on that natural 20. There's some disagreement in Eloria, a lot of disagreement in Eloria on what the providence of magic is, on the difference between divine magic and arcane magic. This has been a problem of contention that Alistair has dealt with as well in the Prognosticators Guild. Their heart and soul is divination magic, and it is given a bad rap because the divine is the gods, and the gods are old news. But I think, Nimbus, you know in your heart that there is no such thing as divine magic and arcane magic. There's just the magic of the weave, the magic that the gods used to create the world. It's all the same thing. And they're outside on the street in the hands of a paladin of Eloria, of Madigan, I'm sorry, holy cow. A paladin of Madigan is a sword wrought from that energy and that magic. Jab. It's a possibility. It's a crazy idea. But it might
stab the
I'm
their baby.
not saying stab necessarily, but what I'm saying is the metal and the magics that make up that weapon may be able to stick a fork in an outlet to bridge that gap between body and conduit. If you were going to try something like this, you would need a clear sky. So it would not be, you wouldn't be stabbing the thing in this room. We would have to have some clear air. But there's clear air not far away. Just outside, you could, in 30 seconds, you could be up above the surface of Eloria. That guy was kind enough to break one of the coolest stained glass skylights in the whole town. Up in the Crystal Crest district, Val and Corbin, you guys know that there are ports everywhere. Everywhere for setting up venues and things like that. Any type of place that you guys could sneak something in, it was totally snuck in.
So I have a few ideas, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
See if we can.
One, two.
Now, I know I'm just a stabby guy, but if we need the batteries to stop charging, why don't we use different batteries? Add more batteries to siphon off the excess flow, so we can at least get the ones that are full safely disconnected and this energy pumping. And once we get it somewhere else where it's not as full, doesn't that allow us to shut the damn thing down? It has to be under 25% production. That at least gives us a way to siphon it off and safely dispose of these other ones.
And what are you proposing for that?
Well, we are the greatest mage city on the planet, are we not? Or in all the land, or whatever the hell we know of now. Can't we magically make more shit? So why don't we build one and make a bunch of copies? if the power source is overflowing, add more places for it to go. That could avoid the whole big boom.
I think that
Give me more people to stab in time.
I think that
I'll go back to stabbing.
I think that while you guys, it's not the worst idea in the world. The problem is it is a very time is the problem. We don't know what's going to happen when these batteries overcharge.
I'm just
Is
trying to
there-
think of how.
We'll call that Plan B.
What about if there's a way? Can we channel one person? Because if we can channel through one person, and that one person can channel it into a storm, to spread it out, to release it,
I think Nimbus.
lightning
Still need to
bolts.
just.
Yeah, I think
At this point, that turns everyone into a lightning rod. We have to think of the people. We cannot just unleash a storm of wild magic onto our city.
Oh, not onto the city. Oh no,
Can you
Nimbus.
guarantee it won't, God?
Nimbus can guarantee that it won't. She's
Okay.
practiced with the
Storm.
storm. She knows her storms. We've got a strong contender for dissipating this power. This could work. The other thing that we have to do,
We need to disconnect the people.
we need to disconnect the people, and Val or Corbin, one of you guys needs to be here to shut the pump down the moment it dips below that number. So we kind of have a little bit of a three-pronged thing here. Nimbus,
I'll happily stay here, but there's a reason that you made it a big shiny red button, Corbin. Because you really, really wanted to one day hit a big shiny red button in case of red.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. Does anybody, if Nimbus, if you're gonna go up,
I'm gonna collect that sword.
if you're gonna go up with the sword, does anybody want to go with Nimbus?
And meta metals? So no.
I think Alistair. Hold on, I need to roll something first to see if Alistair's going to be a good person in this moment.
Hey,
I've been
Roll for
dodging all
not
my
being
life.
I mean, Corbin's just like, look, we don't want them like charging up anymore, so
I've been dodging
you
lightning
can
all
make
my
new
life.
batteries. Is all I'm saying. You could replace
every
most
time
people in a matter of years.
you guys
No
say make new batteries, all I can think of is just like, okay, we're gonna give more flowers out to more people. So we've got Nimbus. Nimbus is gonna bring the storm. Val's gonna be on standby to shut this thing down. Are the rest of you guys gonna go up to the 9-pointed star to try to deal with these batteries? Or is somebody gonna
Yeah.
hang tight with Nimbus for support?
I've dodged lightning enough in my life. I'm going to keep her safe.
Hell yeah.
We got every
Yeah, I'm
aspect.
not going anywhere.
Hell yeah.
Alistair will go up to the 9-pointed star then.
Okay, do you have, does Alistair have your 7th level left? Do you have the juice to,
Yes.
I was gonna say, if not,
Yeah.
there's a machine right there that has limitless energy. Hell yeah.
Wait, can I just?
So can we use that as
Never
like a
mind.
short rest to get back my spell slots then?
Not a short rest, but you can use it in lieu of a spell slot if needed, is kind of the...
Can I use that in lieu of a spell slot just in case anything
Arcane
happens?
recovery. Get
I mean-
your arcane recovery.
You've got the device, right? It's running. Use it, right? Hell yeah,
Yeah.
you 100%
Yeah.
can.
Wait,
Um,
Corbin, are you staying here or are you going up?
Nah, I'm going up. There's no reason for me to be down here.
Okay.
Heck yeah! And Corbin's got the know-how, the Napa know-how to get this done up there. So, hell yeah!
So quick question. Does that mean I get my spell slot back?
No, it is. You can use it in replacement of but hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll plane shift us up. I'll plane shift us up to the surface.
I dig it. What's your plane shift look like, by the way? I'm always curious to see what people's magic kind of manifests as.
Alistair's magic is very crystalline with very like white glowing lines and a lot of eye motifs to it. So I think it's just he places his like he's like slammed his staff down on the floor and like a glowing eye shaped portal opens up like an eye.
Hell yeah. That eye
For them
opens
to
up.
just jump through.
Eye opens up, spins around you guys. You're upside down, and then you're right side up again at the 9-pointed star.
I do have one question.
Go for it, Faust.
Just in case, is there... No, this is above table. Is there any more conflict left, or like combat that you can think of left, where I would have a chance to use my Eldritch Blast? Because I have a very specific shape, and I haven't had a chance to use it, and I want to talk about
That's me, like hoarding all my stuff just to.
Hey, we'll find out.
I don't. I just want to be
I'll
able to
put
use
you
it.
in the
and
throw
say,
at the
hey,
very end if you don't get an opportunity, so that you can use it
Hell yeah.
right before I die.
Hey,
Okay,
we
let's
can
fight
save
each other.
we can save it for table talk afterwards.
Hell yeah. Anything we miss, absolutely. But Nimbus, I know you won't have any problem getting up. But Faust, are you able to fly at all?
No. I have a broom of flying in my inventory, but that was just because I accidentally put it there. I'll take it and use it if you want.
I think, Nimbus, you probably have the juice to get him as well, don't you?
Cool.
You can carry him bridal style.
Just baby Bjorn him. I dig it. I dig it.
Not what I had in mind.
And Nimbus, you did grab the sword as well, is that correct? Okay. I think you're muted as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to, because, man, D&D, it's all about being muted. Hell yeah. So we will zip over to, with a flash, we are back at the 9-pointed star. All around you guys, dozens, if not over 100 people, standing in their evening wear, perfectly still. Blank, pupilless stares gaze before them, locked on nothing. Some of them sway slightly as their bodies, clearly exhausted, try to maintain whatever status quo they are locked in. Do you guys want to, Corbin and Alistair, want to make me a perception check as you try to gather your bearings? And also, I'm kind of assuming that you guys probably just went right back to where you guys left from, so kind of like in that outside...
Yeah.
Probably.
Gotcha.
Code is dying for attention.
Unnatural 20.
Ooh.
Good, so I only got 10.
Hell yeah. Looking around near the stage where Olivia Red Rock Gnome had been performing just a little while ago, she's nowhere to be seen. However, huddled against the stairs leading up to that platform, you see the body of Barnabas. His right arm and leg are completely missing. All around him, the faint, scintillating sparkle of ruby dust, and an uneven distribution of soot before him. If either of you guys want to make an Arcana check or a Medicine check, you're more than welcome to.
I'm going to do Arcana because I want to
Oh my god. Yeah. 12.
26.
Thank you.
Holy shit, Alistair is on fire tonight. Just a little
Yeah.
longer.
man.
No, Wally, bro.
Carry this
so
team
good.
and these chicks.
Hell yeah. Alistair, it looks like somebody did their best to save him. A wall of force or a shield spell of some magnitude protected Barnabas from the devil's cut of whatever had assailed him before it failing. Alistair, it's kind of appropriate that you're the one to realize this. A simulacrum likely died trying to save old Barney. and Crowley's nowhere to be seen. As you guys approach, you notice Barney's eyes are open, and he's frantically scanning his surroundings, his eyes eventually landing on you, panic and pleading on his disco. Lord Fairweather. She saved us, she did.
Whoa. Who did?
The little druid girl. She tackled the bloody snowman right off the point of transmutation. But the damage is done.
Snowman?
Gig's up, I'm afraid. As he finishes those words, his head spins a full 360 degrees, and a spark of arcane energy comes out from where his arm was. Eloria may have tipped us off, I'm afraid. Couldn't be sure what, but we knew something was coming. Consider this small retirement, old chap. I truly wish I could say that it's been a time, love, but I fear that our greatest accomplishment may be ruin and annihilation. And his eyes dim. So that wasn't even Barney. That's cool.
Alistair sees what remains of Crowley and just starts openly weeping in this moment. Like, Alistair is someone who his entire life has been, who has, tried to shove down his emotions and not let them guide his work at all. But Crowley was one of the few people he truly trusted in this world, that being himself, because of course he couldn't trust anyone except himself, and so seeing what remains of him, he fully just shuts down, starts weeping, probably for the first time that anyone in the party has ever seen before.
Yeah. In that moment, as you guys are collecting yourself and trying to figure out something, Corbin, can you roll me an Arcana check as you try to figure out a way to get these batteries offline?
Sure. 17.
Hey, 17. I think that might be the best roll Corbin's. Oh no, Corbin had a 24 earlier. 17's really good though. We're going to pause on that, and we will resolve that here in just a moment. But first, I think we're going to flash to Val in the pump room, looking at the arcane readouts. Right now, she's operating at 100% capacity. Once this happens, what's about to happen has not ever happened. It's not been tested. It's kind of not designed for it. And it's also not your expertise. But if you wouldn't mind, you know that Nimbus is flying up to the Crystal Crest just overhead. You know that there are a series of crystalline relays underneath the pedestal that activates the contraption. If you wouldn't mind, Val, can you make me an Arcana check as you try to bypass the safeties on the ports up there?
You got it. How does a 17 suit ya?
17, I think, is just enough to get her done. Nimbus, you and Faust arc up through the shattered stained glass to a large open area in the Crystal Crest district. Flowers and topiaries. It's beautiful. It's some of your most beautiful work, Nimbus, here in these parks that are strewn across the... roll me a perception check, the two of you guys, to see if we can find the nearest port.
29.
God dang. Hell yeah.
19.
Hell yeah. 1929, an amazing year. I think that's when the first offensive of the Emu War started.
That's phenomenal.
It's right there, Nimbus. It's just like it's right there. Hell yeah, fully right there.
Of course, I'm going to be able to point out the closest port. These are my streets.
Hell yeah.
I know them like the back of my hand.
Faust finds one that's across the street, and you're like, right here.
I see one right there. I'm gonna go
right
this
there.
way.
Hell.
And I go to tap her on the shoulder, and my hand slightly passes through her hair, and it's like, ooh.
Oh, right there, right down there. Biggest ship in the town. It's got a big old metal thing across the top. Aim for that.
Hell yeah. Nimbus, you can feel the breeze properly up here. You likely want to do this at the highest level possible that you can do. What level would that be?
That would be a level, I believe, 7.
Can I give the aid action since I'm with her to give her advantage?
You can absolutely get rid
Yes.
of that. Yeah.
So what I
Oh.
would probably do is like when we're up there as high as I can, embracing the winds, I will take the sword and hold it in the air like a rod.
Hell yeah.
And I will cast Call Lightning at 7th level, and just to make it, I will also then, to maximize it, I would do one of my channel divinities to get max,
Hell.
to do Destructive Wrath to have the max damage of it.
Destructive Wrath is the most fitting name for that ability. I love it so much. One moment, though, real quick, we do have to resolve Corbin's roll. And we're going to resolve that roll not with an answer,
Oh no.
but we're going to resolve that by asking for Corbin and Alistair. Can you guys both make me dexterity saving throws?
Oh no. Is this a spell?
You know what?
A spell or a magical effect?
It absolutely is a spell or magical effect. It's a magical effect.
Dex save.
I have advantage on
Yes.
this.
Yeah, dex save.
Okay.
Anything you guys?
I'm gonna add a d4.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, it's a
Yeah,
great
it's
thing I had an
good.
advantage on that roll because my cloak, because that was a
18.
nat 1 and then a 19.
Okay. And what's the total on that 19?
19 with modifiers.
Okay, gotcha. And Corbin?
18.
18. Whew. With 2 failures
Are you kidding me?
as the first series of batteries detonate. Fortunately, I don't have to roll any dice for this on my end. Alistair, can you describe to me your last moment?
Oh my god.
I'm trying to keep my shit together
think-
here too, guys.
I think in the most dramatic way possible, there is a moment where after Crowley's death, Alistair flashes through a lot of moments in his life. Basically, like a lot of the things of like what led him here, like being denied for the project, spying on his friends for years, and I think he has a come to Jesus moment in this second, and is finally about to like, okay, fine, I've lost Crowley, I'm ready to do anything that I can to make sure the city survives in his honor. And the second that he decides to be a good person, is the second that he dies.
Fuck. Corbin, your last moment.
Done, sir.
Here's the thing. Corbin is a simple man. So his last thought is simply, fuck. And that's it.
I love
Everything's gone to shit. That's it. Fuck.
Nimbus and Faust, at this moment, a powerful detonation and an impossibly bright flash of light coming from the slopes of Aeronoth threaten to shatter your concentration. Nimbus, as you weave flows of magic that you haven't woven in decades through the air around you, the winds, they pick up, and in an instant, the sky grows dark as thick, dusky clouds form, blotting out the sun. As cool rain pelts down on your face, and a friendly, low rumble of thunder greets you as an old friend. You can hear this even over the sound of what's left of a mountain crashing down. As your storm, the first storm these skies have seen in a millennia, rages overhead. You reach out with your mind, steeling yourself against the trauma that is the very real reality of what just happened, of what is happening. Overhead, your storm grows massive, covering the sky entirely as thunder rumbles and lightning crashes down. Nimbus, can you roll me a wisdom check and add your proficiency modifier to that? You are muted again as well, ma'am.
A wisdom check. Shit. A 7.
Can I give her an 8? Can I aid her?
Yeah, no, he is giving
That'd
you
be a 13.
He is giving you the help action, so you do have advantage on this.
Okay.
Thank God
Do
for
another one. So this would be additional +5 on top of it. So a 23.
There we go.
A little scary with the 13.
Come on, baby. Call that
with
storm.
a DC of 20. The city of Eloria famously detests the gods. Almost 1 million people turn their noses to them, and yet all it takes is one who is truly faithful, one who remembers the breeze. That storm at the heart of you now rages overhead, its magic intertwining with yours. When a daughter needs her mother, she should be there. Over top of this faithless city, the gale song rages and swells. She's here to help. Here in this moment, and Nimbus, a moment is all you have left. Now, with the gale song overhead, I have to ask, do you try and dissipate this magic, this massive buildup of energy? Do you connect that sword to the conduit?
It'll be like knowing that the gale song, her gale storm there, she will just use that as like a bolster.
Your fingers tighten around the hilt of this sword. It wasn't meant for you, but in this moment with your god overhead, it locks in, and you can feel the magic of the sword flowing through you. The magic of the conduit, unkeyed magical potential. You touch it to the port on the ground beneath a bench made into marble. Your vision goes white as an impossible force surges through your veins, your muscles, your bones, through every fraction of your very soul, making the tempest in your heart pale in comparison. A feeling not felt by mortals before. Infinite energy. Not calm, not collected. A sea at storm. Violent, raging, primal. Can you make me a wisdom saving throw, as you try to retain some semblance of yourself as these torrents rage through your body.
With advantage.
With advantage from your friend of your buddy Faust.
The old grumbly guy next door.
Be a 27.
Hell yeah. And I will say, going forward as well, in these moments, you don't have the time to cast guidance, but if you need it, your god's overhead, and you've got a d4 if you need him. However, with the 27, you hold on. But you know you can't keep this up. We've got to dissipate some of this energy. So, go ahead and call your lightning. Where do you want the first bolt to go? Range is not an issue here. You can get it outside the city if you need to.
I'd probably aim for outside, definitely outside the city. The places where I know if there's gonna be people around, I'm gonna try to go for, like, I know that there's not many there, or if I could even send some bolts straight up into the air.
Okay. Hell yeah. All right, so we're gonna roll these dice, but instead of the normal damage dice, we're gonna roll D100s in this moment. And if you'd like to use your real dice, it'd almost be appropriate.
I don't have a D100 unless you just want me to do a bunch of D20s.
A bunch of D20s is totally fine. We can roll with it. I just need some big numbers to work with. So however you want to do it.
Let's see.
I was going to say, if you don't have percentile dice or just D10s, that also works, but that could get tiring after a while.
You ready, guys?
Let's do it.
No!
And hey, they're all above a 14, so...
Oh, yes, for big numbers.
Hey, I like big numbers.
I'll add these all up.
Yeah, perfect.
15 plus 19 plus 18 plus a 17 plus a 14. 83.
83. I like it. I don't know what it means, but it doesn't really matter. A massive amount of energy burns away into the sky as your lightning. You just shoot out one of those big space shuttle killer lightning bolts that just kind of goes up into the atmosphere and dissipates into nothing. It's in this moment, resolve is all that matters. Go ahead and make me another wisdom saving throw. The DC on this is going to be lower now, as your lightning seems to be working. And Val, in this moment, you also notice it's working.
Dirty 20.
The energy is being siphoned off. Dirty 20, you said?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Holding strong against the forces that threaten to rip your body apart, your mind clear. Boom! Another massive bolt tears into the sky. As your bolt tears into the sky, the mountainside begins to crumble, shattering the Aeronoth Conservatory in a mighty landslide. Deep within, none of you are there to see it. Alani Makani and her two sisters, Anna and Safi, you see them opening, they're using druid craft and raising apple trees, splitting them open and ushering people in, survivors. They're leaving through the trees created by their druid craft. As the conservatory shatters outward, I lost my place. Shards of thick blue crystal burst into the air. As they burst outward, they suddenly start moving so slowly. Everything moving so slow. Nimbus, in this moment, can you give me a history check?
I sure can. All right, history. A 6.
Okay. 6 is normally pretty rough, but in this moment, we're remembering something just a moment ago. We discussed this. The conservatory, both conservatories, are connected to the main trunk of the conduit. It was a humongous inconvenience having them taking up so much of your storage level for the massive crystalline tube. And it's a massive inconvenience now as the landslide shatters it and the remnants of the mountain and half of a continent are disintegrated in an instant as a massive amount of power surges through the conduit, now open and exposed to the air. Val, a massive amount, more than was ever designed to handle a massive amount of power, is surging through the conduit now. The room begins to shake and vibrate with the strain around you, and it is getting hot in there. Do you want to do anything in this moment to protect yourself from what may be about to come? You've got to be there to shut this thing down. Is there anything that you can do to
Looking at my spells, fuck.
Take your time. This is
Because I'm pretty much out of everything. Is the cool thing.
Oh, you're out of everything, you said?
I'm out of my like punchy shit, basically.
Well, with a few snaps of the fingers, even in this chaos, you can have spell slots. You've got magic, and that's all that you've got right now. It's just a shit ton of magic, and that's kind of the problem.
That's the problem.
Hell yeah.
Icarus is, what does this spell do? Hold up. A ward.
I was thinking like some type of wall of force or some way to resist or make yourself
I'm trying to figure out
immune
what
to
guards and wards would be useful right now.
Gotcha. I honestly don't know what it does, so give me just 10 seconds and I'll help you out.
Yeah. I've played wizard once and I've never played wizard this high of level, so many of these spells are very foreign to me.
I need this is a crazy spell. Corridors.
One of them is you could place a constant gust of wind in one corridor or room.
I would say that if you wanted to, in this moment, do that to
Like,
burn a spell slot and burn a spell slot that you don't even own, and create an air conditioning in here to ventilate a little bit.
the fucking emergency air conditioning. And I feel like as the room is getting so hot, she's basically turning into steam a little bit.
Ooh.
And like that's the emergency fucking switch to keep herself together.
Perfect.
I think she's just muttering a bunch of shit to herself. Was like, not now, not now, not now. We have to get it to work. We have to save them.
Hell yeah. Nimbus. As the surge of power floods the conduit, it floods your body, overwhelming everything until all there is: magic, burning, searing, painful, lightning. In that moment of excruciating bliss, you come to understand the complicated melody that comprises the Gale Song. As this magic of creation runs through your veins, you understand she's not a god at all. She's primal, pure, true, some remnant titan of lightning and rain, an aesthetic blemish left on Lewis' canvas. This, however, this power surging through you, it's the power of creation itself. It is the flux used by the gods at the moment of creation. It shreds your body and soul until all that's left is the storm at your heart. Nimbus, here at the end, your city is being destroyed, put down by your own flowers, albeit altered with some outside influence. Those flowers' original purpose was elegant, beautiful, and simple. It was conceptual. The fury of the storm and the gentle rain that follows. That concept is the truth of your heart. That truth, the rage of the storm, the life-giving water that comes afterwards. That truth imprints itself onto the endless power flowing through you as you are fired high into the sky as a massive bolt of lightning. The magics of the Gale Song intermingling with yours, meeting the unkeyed power of creation. Val, the room is growing so hot around you, but the machine lurches and whatever's going on up there is working. The torrent of energy flowing through the device is weakening. Nimbus is doing it. Faust, you watch as Nimbus is unmade, shot high into the sky on a surging lightning bolt. Val, as the power continues to drain with whatever is happening, we've only got a moment. The power is nearly to a safe level for an emergency disconnect. Will you grace me with an Arcana check, if you would not mind?
One more for the road.
Hell yeah.
So with her gone, am I just kind of floating up in the air?
Hey, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Ooh, a 23.
23. 23, hell yeah. With a 21 DC, Val. You press the button and disconnect the device. RJ, will you do me the honor of describing Val's last moment as the transducer explodes?
I think, as has been described, like, everything's fucking on blast to not only keep this thing contained, but also keep her alive long enough to press the button. And it's not working. There's so much shit going on right now and so many powers colliding with each other that keeping a simple and a very old Air Genasi alive is the least of the world's concerns right now. I think that she's literally fading away as, like, the air in her body can't function in this environment anymore. And I think that there's a split-second moment where she thinks back to a bureaucratic white room full of judges and officials as a woman hands her a piece of paper and says, introducing the new Enchantrix Primarch of the Ivory, Dr. Valtris Coalescence. And then with the last of her form, she presses the button and fades into nothingness.
Hell yeah. Nimbus. Gale Song. You streak across the sapphire waters of the open sea, diving down into a corkscrew before darting back up as clouds build on the convection and spin. You arc across a massive chain of islands before turning south towards something. There's a fondness in that direction. It's home, or it was once. You fire southward with impossible speed, passing fleeing skyships, flying low over the forests below. Up ahead, the remaining Tower of Ascension, Coronath, stands proud, a dark and beautiful storm overhead. Below you, all over the land, you can see the conduit that stretched out from Eloria, covering the land, begins to glow white hot, melting the very ground around it. With a clap of thunder, you're falling, 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 as the conduit finally fails, sending a massive explosion high into the sky, leaving a continent scarred. With another crack of thunder, you fire back up, arcing high into the sky, flying north, wandering, lost. As the forests burn beneath you, your sorrow overflows. As a gentle rain falls down on a group of survivors climbing out of a pair of crashed skyships, heading northward, while the winds of your hurricane propelled dozens of small ships from Eloria's coast, heading to a new world spread across the islands to the north. The Bloodlines have ended. Though your conduit was the catalyst for all this, though your flowers allowed this to happen, though you, who sees all, somehow missed Orpheus's plans, though you failed to protect your patron, though you were the architect of your own demise, the world was changed by this. Swaths of ocean froze in an instant, deserts flooded, lands burnt, and shadows crept the land for almost a minute as the planes themselves were pulled into the overloading reactor, fired across abhaile through the breach before returning to where they belong, before being pulled through again, and again, and again. For all that, in every single way, thanks to you, the world still exists. The powers flowing through the conduit had the power to end everything, forever. You were anti-heroes. It's a shame that your story will not be told on abhaile, that your sacrifice saved the world in the end. But because of that sacrifice, those survivors, they get a chance to start over, to do better. Guided by Jane Onster and Eloria Rizan of the Prognosticators Guild, your sacrifice led to the founding of Onstria. Because of you, those boats make it to those islands where they, led by Alani Makani and her sisters Anna and Safi, would scatter amongst those islands, abandoning the magic and ambitions of Eloria, becoming the people of the Moanwi Islands. With a clap of thunder, Nimbus, or should I say Gale Song, you join your new siblings in the Tower of Bells, and far below, the churning, violent waters rushing in to fill a new canal. A goddamn ring of mind shielding sits waiting to change abhaile forever. And that, my friends, was the story of the first caramel cod. But seriously, guys, it has been a pleasure and an honor beyond words to play with you all. And to those of you at home, we love you. Take care of yourselves, love each other, and if you get the chance to construct an interplanar conduit to tap into infinite energy, could be fun.
Be safe.
Oh, that is